Cholesterol has been blamed for heart disease for a long time. It shows up on every lab report. It's the reason millions of people take medication every day. And it's probably the number your doctor mentions most during your checkup. But what we now know about cholesterol has changed a lot. And most people haven't heard the updated version. Cholesterol is not your enemy. What actually matters is what's happening to your cholesterol, where it's going in your body, and whether your body is inflamed on the inside. If nobody has ever explained that to you clearly, that changes today. Let's start with what cholesterol actually is, because most people have the wrong idea before we even get to whether it's harmful. Cholesterol is a soft, waxy substance your body makes on its own. Your liver produces about 75 to 80% of all the cholesterol in your blood. The rest comes from the food you eat. Your body needs cholesterol to build healthy cells, make hormones like testosterone and estrogen, produce vitamin D, and help your digestive system break down fat. Your brain alone uses enormous amounts of it to function properly. Without cholesterol, your body simply cannot work. So the idea that it's automatically dangerous doesn't hold up when you look at what it actually does. Now, cholesterol doesn't travel through your blood on its own. Fat and water don't mix, so your body packages cholesterol into little carriers made of protein. These carriers are called lipoproteins. You've probably heard of two of them, LDL and HDL. LDL carries cholesterol from your liver out to the rest of your body. HDL picks up extra cholesterol and carries it back to the liver so it can be removed. For many years, doctors kept it simple. LDL is bad, HDL is good, lower your LDL, done. It was an easy message. But it's not the full story. Here's what research over the last 20 years has made much clearer. It's not the LDL itself that causes the problem. It's what happens to LDL when conditions inside your body are off. When LDL particles get damaged, mostly from inflammation, they start sticking to the walls of your arteries. That's when the real trouble begins. Think of it like this. Cut open an apple and leave it on the counter. Within minutes, it starts turning brown. That browning happens because the inside of the apple is now exposed to air, a process called oxidation. The same thing can happen to LDL particles inside your body when there's too much inflammation. That damaged, oxidized LDL gets stuck in your artery walls, your immune system tries to fight it, and over time, plaque builds up. That plaque narrows your arteries and raises your risk of a heart attack or stroke. So the more important question isn't just what your cholesterol number says. The more important question is, how much inflammation is going on inside your body? Inflammation is behind almost every major chronic disease, including heart disease. When your arteries are chronically inflamed, even a normal amount of LDL can cause damage. When inflammation is low, moderately elevated cholesterol is much less likely to cause serious harm. The biggest driver of that harmful inflammation? Blood sugar. When blood sugar stays too high, even just in the pre-diabetic range, it slowly damages the inner lining of your arteries. Once that lining is damaged, LDL can slip inside more easily, and the inflammation snowballs from there. That's why people with type 2 diabetes or prediabetes have a much higher risk of heart disease, even when their cholesterol looks fine on paper. Other major drivers of inflammation include eating a lot of sugary foods, processed snacks, and fast food, chronic stress, poor sleep, smoking, and carrying extra weight around your belly. These are the things that make cholesterol dangerous, not the cholesterol itself. There's one more thing worth understanding, and most people have never heard this. Not all LDL particles are the same. Some LDL particles are large and fluffy. Others are small and dense. The small dense ones are the ones that get into artery walls most easily and cause the most damage. The large ones are much less harmful. Two people can have the exact same LDL number on their lab report, but one has mostly large particles and a lower real risk, and the other has mostly small particles and a much higher real risk. A basic cholesterol test can't tell the difference between them. That's why some doctors now measure something called ApoB. Every harmful LDL particle carries exactly one ApoB protein on its surface. So measuring ApoB tells you exactly how many dangerous particles are floating around in your blood. Many heart specialists consider this a better risk marker than standard LDL alone. So what numbers should you actually be paying attention to? Triglycerides are one of the most important and most overlooked. Triglycerides are fats in your blood that go up when you eat too much sugar and too many refined carbs. High triglycerides are one of the clearest signs that your metabolism is struggling. They should ideally be under 150. Many experts say under 100 is even better. Your HDL level matters too, but specifically in relationship to your triglycerides. Here's a simple calculation worth knowing. Divide your triglyceride number by your HDL number. If that result is under 2, your lipid pattern looks generally healthy. If it's above 3, that's a warning sign. Above 5 is a serious red flag for insulin resistance and elevated heart risk. This single ratio often tells you far more about your real cardiovascular health than your LDL number alone. C-reactive protein, or CRP, is an inflammation marker your doctor can check through a simple blood test. When CRP is elevated, your body is dealing with chronic inflammation, and that raises your heart risk significantly. Researchers at Harvard found that high CRP was actually a stronger predictor of heart attacks than high LDL in some groups. If your CRP is high, that's the problem worth addressing first. Fasting insulin and blood sugar are also worth checking. Many people have insulin resistance, where their cells stop responding properly to insulin, for years before a standard blood test picks it up. Elevated fasting insulin is often the earliest sign, and when insulin resistance is present, it drives inflammation, pushes triglycerides up, brings HDL down, and shifts LDL toward the smaller, more dangerous particle type. It affects everything. So what can you actually do about all of this? The lifestyle changes that most powerfully protect your heart aren't primarily about lowering cholesterol. They're about reducing inflammation and improving how your metabolism works. Cutting back on added sugar and ultra-processed food has a bigger impact on your real heart risk than cutting back on eggs or butter. The evidence has consistently shown that sugar and refined carbohydrates are far more problematic for most people's cardiovascular health. Fiber, on the other hand, is genuinely protective. Foods like oats, beans, lentils, and vegetables contain soluble fiber that binds to cholesterol in your gut and helps remove it before it ever reaches your bloodstream. Fiber also feeds good bacteria in your gut, which helps lower inflammation throughout your body. Regular movement makes a meaningful difference. You don't need intense workouts. Walking for 30 minutes most days improves how your body handles blood sugar, lowers triglycerides, raises HDL, and reduces inflammation markers measurably. Sleep is just as important. When you consistently sleep poorly, your cortisol rises, your blood sugar regulation worsens, and inflammation builds up over time. Sleep is not optional when it comes to heart health. Omega-3 fatty acids, found in fatty fish like salmon, sardines, and mackerel, are among the most well-studied tools for lowering triglycerides and reducing cardiovascular inflammation. If you don't eat fatty fish regularly, a good quality fish oil supplement is something worth asking your doctor about. None of this means cholesterol doesn't matter at all, or that medication is never the right answer. Some people have a genetic condition called familial hypercholesterolemia that causes extremely high LDL no matter how well they eat or how much they exercise. For those people, medication is often necessary and genuinely helpful. For people who have already had a heart attack, the decision around cholesterol-lowering drugs is a different calculation than for someone without any history of heart disease. These are decisions to make with your doctor based on your complete health picture. But what it does mean is this. Looking at a cholesterol number without also looking at your inflammation levels, your blood sugar, your triglycerides, your HDL, and ideally your ApoB, gives you a very incomplete view of your actual risk. If you want to take a more complete look at your heart health, ask your doctor for a panel that includes fasting insulin, high-sensitivity CRP, triglycerides, and HDL. Calculate your triglyceride to HDL ratio yourself. Ask about ApoB if it's available. And take an honest look at your diet, your sleep, and your stress levels. Because those things shape your real cardiovascular risk more than any single lab number. The science has moved forward. Heart health is no longer just about one number on a lab report. The full picture is more nuanced, more accurate, and honestly more hopeful. Because the things that protect your heart most are things you largely have control over. Your cholesterol number is one piece of information. Your overall metabolic health is the real story. That's where your attention belongs. And there you have it. Take this knowledge and take control of your health. Thank you for watching.